God, what is your will for me? That's what I most want to know. As I am finite and you are infinite, I have to deal with the reality that I am running out of time, and I cannot spend my life chasing false realities. I cannot make the mistakes of my youth again. I can't afford it. I'm running out of time. This time, I must get it right. What is your will for me? And Paul says, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, which means God's will existed before he revealed it. It was there, and then he revealed it. In fact, having made known implies apocalypse. It literally means the unveiling of his will. That God doesn't show you his will all at once. And God has a purpose in not disclosing his will. For if we knew God's will, we would mess up his purpose. God can't show you everything all the time, because there is something in the stumbling and the groping that embellishes our relationship. Paul says we happily feel and grope after him as if we might touch him, for he is nigh unto us, even in our mouth, and yet he wants us to seek his face while he may be found, because there is something in seeking God that enriches us. And sometimes he hides from us to see if you want him bad enough to seek him. Sometimes he takes the answer and puts it behind the door and sees if you want it bad enough to knock on the door and say, let me in there. Knock on the door. Well, God, you could have moved it. Yes, but I put the door in your way because there's something you prove in the knocking that you couldn't learn if I gave it to you more easily. There is a period in our lives that we must be tested by walking with a God that we don't understand, and walking through a place and a time in our life that we are confused about, and that God allows us to wander in the wilderness. Even though we have a destiny and a purpose, he allows us to wander because there's something in the groping that proves that we are worthy of the blessing. Because if you don't want it bad enough to grope for it, or crawl for it, or reach for it, or cry for it, or ask for it, or knock for it, it will not be given. If you have what you hope for, why do you yet hope for it? Faith is the substance of the thing you hope for. You don't need faith if you got clear directions. He puts you in the neighborhood and says, I'm going to make your senses so keen that when you see it, you're going to know it. And you're not going to know how you know it, but you're going to know that you know it when you see it. And your ability to know that you know it is going to be a sign that I'm communicating with you on a level that other people can't communicate. Oh, do you hear what I'm saying? Because when I bless you, I am going to bless you on a level that imitators and spectators cannot come. In fact, my blessing that I have for you will not come through your natural senses. Your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard, neither have entered into your heart the things that I have in store for them that love him. I've already got it. It's in store. The only way it can be revealed unto you is by his Spirit. So I put my Spirit in your body so that when I have something for you, you may not see it with your eyes, you may not hear it with your ear, but you're going to know it in your spirit. And when you know it in your spirit, no devil in hell can stop you from getting it, because you know it in your spirit. And the enemies can't take it from you, and the witches can't take it from you, and the haters can't take it from you, because I'm not going to deliver it in that realm. I'm going to hide it in the spirit. And when you get in the spirit, I'm going to show you things to come and mysteries to come and word to come. I'm going to speak to you and show you why you had to go through this and why you had to go through that and why this one had to leave and why you had to go. I'm going to show you in the Spirit. Life is a mystery. If you take away the mystery and everything was certain, you wouldn't need faith. Faith functions best when you don't know. So God often puts us in positions where we don't know to destabilize us from relying too much on what we know.
Yeah.
Like a trainer who starts you out and he starts you out on a weight machine, okay? And then he puts you on a bench and he gives you free weights because now it's less stable. The less stable it is, the more muscles you build. Finally, he puts you on a ball where everything's unstable, and when he puts you on the ball, he's building up your core. So the more unstable your life becomes, the more you have to go inside yourself to stabilize yourself. You're strong enough to withstand instability.
Yeah.
And if you knew everything, you'd have no room for faith, for discovery, for innovation, because creativity comes in uncertainty.
Yeah.
It comes in uncertainty, in the middle of chaos, because after a while, anytime you know too much, you stop living your best self. You would never discover what else you were if you stayed in one place. I've written 5 simple steps that really helps no matter who you are, what walk of life you're in. Number 1, you have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily give you a happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff. The second thing that I think people need to do is challenge their own story, because people torment themselves by how they see their life. They've told themselves a story as if it were the truth when it is really a perspective truth. And sometimes you've narrated a story that you beat yourself to death with. Challenge your own story. Change the way you talk to yourself about who you are and what happened to you and what you're going to do in your life. You wrote the script. Change the story. Change the dialogue. The third thing that I think is very important is to enjoy the journey, not the destination. A lot of us delay our happiness. When I get to this level, when I get my degree, when I get the kids, when I get married, I'm going to be happy. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the whole step, the whole process. Every day that you get up to strive for whatever it is you're after. You know, I'm a goal-oriented guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't celebrate when you get to the finish line. Celebrate all along the way. Celebrate all along the way.
Yeah, man. Like you say, enjoying the journey is just realizing that there's joy in the process.
That, and then I put me on my calendar. Put me on my calendar, because I want my attention too. Because if you don't see yourself as valuable, nobody else will. The other point is make relationships count. Making your relationships count, because everything is about relationships. First of all, your relationship with God. That's a very important thing to have, because as long as you know that there's somebody in charge, you don't have to bear the brunt of the responsibility and the weight of what's going on in your life. You can talk to the boss, okay? Number 2, enjoy your relationship with yourself. If you don't like you, it makes it hard for me to like you. Because people, when you walk into their atmosphere, they draw you into the cosmos of their own drama. And if they're full of drama without you, when you come in, you become caught up in the cyclone of their drama. Enjoy your relationship with yourself. And then anybody else who comes in, they enter into a party you already started. You understand?
Yeah.
And then the relationship with your kids, the relationship with your spouse, the relationship with your friends, taking time to enjoy the relationships, because nature teaches us that there is no fruit without relationships. You cannot be fruitful by yourself. In business, in home, in life, in church, I don't care what it is, you are no more than the relationships you surround yourself with, and make sure that those are good ones. The fifth thing that I really ascribe to is balance work with play. You can't do all of either one and be successful. And to those whom much is given, much is required. And if you work really hard and you're a really diligent person, make sure that you do some play to balance your life out. If you play real hard but you don't work very much, you're going to be fun, but you're going to be hungry. You have to balance that with your children. If you're always a disciplinarian, balancing work with play calls this not only for you to be holistic, but for people to get a better perspective of who you are.